On a cold night in the town of Ravenswood, whispers of an eerie legend echoed through the streets, the tale of the Whispering Woods. Locals spoke of strange voices, shifting shadows, and people who entered the forest never to return. Jake never believed in such stories, but he was determined to uncover the truth, unaware that some doors, once opened, can never be closed. The town of Ravenswood had always carried an unsettling reputation. On its outskirts lay an ancient, gnarled forest known as the Whispering Woods. Towering trees twisted towards the sky like skeletal fingers, while an eerie mist slithered between the trunks, cloaking the forest floor in an eternal haze. Legends spoke of those who entered and never returned, or worse, returned changed. The townsfolk whispered about voices that carried on the wind, eerie murmurs that beckoned unsuspecting souls deeper into the woods. Those who survived their journey spoke of shadowy figures lurking just beyond sight, watching, waiting. One crisp autumn evening, a man named Jake arrived in town. He had grown up hearing stories of the Whispering Woods, but he had always dismissed them as mere superstition. Logic and reason dictated his life, and he was determined to prove that the so-called cursed forest was nothing more than an overgrown patch of trees. He had come on business, but curiosity gnawed at him, demanding he uncover the truth. That night, he visited the town's tavern, a dimly lit place where locals gathered to drown their fears in ale and whispers. As soon as he entered, the room fell into an uneasy silence. Eyes flickered toward him, their gazes shadowed with concern. Behind the bar, an old man named Tom met his gaze with a wary expression. "You're not thinking of going in there, are you?" Tom asked, voice low and gravelly. Jake smirked. "I don't believe in ghost stories. I'll be fine." The tavern grew impossibly still. A few of the older patrons exchanged glances before one finally muttered, "You won't come out the same." Tom leaned in, his tone a warning. "If you hear voices, don't answer them." Jake shrugged off their concern and left, confident in his skepticism. At dawn, he set out toward the forest. The early morning light struggled to penetrate the dense canopy. A strange stillness surrounded him, as if the woods themselves were holding their breath. The deeper he ventured, the quieter the world became. No rustling leaves, no chirping birds, just silence, then a whisper. At first, it was barely perceptible, like the sigh of the wind. But then it came again, clearer this time. "Jake?" He froze. The air grew colder, wrapping around him like unseen hands. "Come closer." His pulse quickened. It wasn't the wind. Someone, or something, was calling his name. "Who's there?" he called, his voice swallowed by the thick mist. A rustling sound came from behind him. Spinning around, he found nothing but endless trees stretching into the gloom. Then more whispers, dozens of them, overlapping, weaving together in an incomprehensible symphony of murmurs. "You know what happened to them, don't you?" A shadow flickered at the edge of his vision. His breath hitched. The trees seemed to close in, their twisted limbs reaching for him. They never left, and neither will you. Panic surged through him. He turned and ran, but no matter how fast he moved, the path ahead remained unchanged, twisting, shifting, endless. The whispers grew louder, clawing at his mind, sinking into his thoughts like parasites. His foot caught on an exposed root. He fell, his hands sinking into the damp earth. The mist thickened, curling around him like a living thing. And then, he saw it. A figure emerged from the fog, tall, skeletal, its hollow eyes fixed on him. Its lips moved, but no sound escaped. Yet the whispers roared in his ears, screaming his name, consuming him whole. Darkness swallowed him. The next morning, Jake was found. The townsfolk found Jake at the forest's edge. His eyes wide with his lifeless body lay cold against the earth. Something beyond his face frozen in an expression of sheer terror. In his trembling fingers clutched was a single blackened leaf, its edges blackened and scorched. Old Tom watched from the tavern's doorway, shaking his head in the darkness. He had seen this before. He had warned him. The whispering woods had claimed another soul. The only whispers would never stop. Who will be next? If you enjoy mysterious and terrifying stories, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to never miss a new tale from the dark world of horror on fire.